Hey everyone, welcome to Things Lucy Reads. I'm Luce and this is part 2 of my August wrap-up / my Bout of Books 14 or whatever number it was wrap-up. I read 6 books for this bout of books and every single one of them was a graphic novel. The first one that I read is Pathfinder Volume 1 by Jim Zup, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars to. Pathfinder is like a tabletop roleplay game, I think. And there is this comic series that came out as like a tie-in to it. I'm not quite sure how RPGs work, so I can't kind of give you an explanation of that. I only know about them in the most basic of terms. But this story follows, I want to say 5 main characters. It's been such a long time since I read it now. My god, I need to do this sooner. And they have to kind of go on a quest to find and kill the Queen of the Goblins. I think some kind of evil queen. Anyway, I got it because it was included in a list of comics and graphic novel series with queer characters. There are no queer characters in Volume 1, but well, I mean, the characters are there, but they're not explicitly queer in Volume 1, but I'm pretty sure they will be in Volume 2. Yeah, it was really enjoyable and I really liked all of the characters. There was like a lot of information in the back about places that they went to and each character and species and races within the world, so that was really interesting. I would definitely recommend it if you're into high fantasy or graphic novels or just adventure. Like I said, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars and I really want to read the other 2, and I think I might fork out for the hardcovers because I know I'm going to like them. Alrighty, the next book that I read is Fun Home by Alison Bechdel, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars to. This is a memoir in graphic novel form, which is really cool. And it's about Alison's father and about how when she came out to her parents as a lesbian, she found out that her father was bisexual and had been having a series of affairs with teenage boys. And then a few weeks after that, he was killed by a truck, like he was hit by a truck, and they didn't know whether it was an accident or whether he jumped in front of it on purpose. So it's kind of about the fallout from that and Alison finding out things about her father that she didn't know up until that point, and just kind of finding out that the person she thought her father was not who he was at all. And it was really enjoyable. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely worth picking up. The next book I read was a 5-star read, and that is Princeless Volume 1 by Jeremy Whitley and M. Goodwin. This series is just the best thing I've ever read. It's about this girl called Adrienne, who is a woman of color and she's also a princess. And when she turned 16, her parents locked her up in a castle and bought a dragon to protect her from unsuitable suitors. And it's really funny because we do see a prince try and come and rescue her, but she just chews him out because he calls her a fair beauty, and fair traditionally means not beautiful, but pale skin, pale hair. And Adrienne obviously is a woman of color and definitely not what fair would mean in its traditional sense. So she just like gives him this whole lesson on what the word fair actually means and about how if he wants to rescue her, he's gonna have to try harder than that. And then she gets tired of waiting around. So she and the dragon like escape from the tower because she finds a sword under the bed that her twin brother left there. And so she takes the sword and they escape and they go off to rescue all of Adrienne's sisters who are also locked in towers waiting to be rescued. And along the way she meets a friend called Bedelia, who is half human, half dwarf. And they just go on this quest and it's just so funny and so delightful. And I think it's quite possibly my favorite comic series ever because it's just such a joy to read and like actually funny. It's like laugh out loud funny, and I just can't get enough of this. You should definitely pick this up. It's amazing. Alright, the next book that I read for Bout of Books is Young Avengers Presents by a bunch of people who I don't know. This is obviously part of the Young Avengers series. It's kind of like the not the origin stories, but each character. So we've got Patriot, Hulkling, Wiccan, and God, I can't remember his name. Speed, oops, Vision, Stature, and Hawkeye, Kate Bishop. And it's just, each issue is about the one character or two in Speed and Wiccan's case, and just kind of shows you a side of them that you haven't necessarily seen before. It's set post-Civil War, so it's kind of like the fallout from that as well. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. It was pretty solid all round. Vision's issue I found a little bit confusing. It's been so long since I read this that I can't tell you why I found it confusing, but I couldn't really follow along with that one as well as I could in the others. And then in Kate Bishop's issue, she was taken on a date by Eli, Patriot, and she kind of like told him that she only wanted to be friends. And then Eli was all like, "Oh my God, Kate, don't you dare just throw the F word at me like that. I can't deal with this right now. I'm trying to be nice to you and you're just shooting me down." And he just in general acted like being friends with Kate was the worst thing in the world. It was either be his girlfriend or be nothing. And I never really had Patriot pegged to be a fuckboy like that, but apparently he was. He did apologize for it later in the issue, and then they got together, but I wasn't happy about that at all. But the Hawk guy was in that issue, so that kind of made up for that. In general, I really do enjoy this series. It has fantastic representation in terms of race and queerness, and it's just fabulous all around. So even though I wouldn't call this my favorite one, the entire series is worth picking up if you can find it. All right, the next 2 things I read are 2 tie-in manga for the anime Puella Magi Madoka Magica. I read The Different Story Volume 1 and Homura's Revenge Volume 1. These are both alternate universe stories, and the premise of this one is what if Mami and Kyoko were friends? And it's really, really cool because a lot of the events that happen in the original anime also happen in this, but slightly different because the setting has changed. So it was really interesting to see how all of that played out and how it really wasn't such a great thing that 2 magical girls were friends. In the show, they kind of it's a running theme that if you're friends with a magical girl, it just spells disaster. Like, they should all work alone and not be friends with anyone because bad things happen when they are. But yeah, it was really, really good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I do want to read the rest of it. And yeah, I really love this anime, and they've done so many spin-off series of it, and I'm just so happy because I could read about it forever. So in the original anime, there's a lot of like rewinding time and going back and starting things again, because that's one of the powers that Homura has, and every time she does that, she's the only one that remembers and no one else does. But in this one, they were like, well, what if Madoka remembered all of that happening? What if she remembered that time had been reset and that things had gone drastically wrong in the previous timelines, and how things would be different? And it's really, really good. I gave this one 4 stars as well. Not gonna lie, Homura and Madoka is my ship. I ship them a lot. This is the only one that's currently out at the moment. There is a volume 2 coming out very, very soon, and I'm really excited to pick that one up and continue with this because all of my feels. Then the last book that I read for the Bout of Books is Miss Marvel Volume 3 Crushed. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. So Kamala is Muslim, and her parents are kind of preoccupied with finding her a nice Muslim husband. And Kamala is kind of resistant, as you would be. But then one of the people that her parents suggest turns out to be like her perfect match. And she gets this huge crush on him straight away and starts imagining what it would be like if they were married. And then he finds out that he's got like a pretty big secret that affects everything. And she kind of starts imagining what it would be like to actually marry him and what that would be like. And then everything kind of goes to shit, and she realizes that that's not going to be a good thing after all. But I really, really love this series. Every volume has been really, really solid. I can't tell you any more detail because spoilers, but I really, really liked it. Every volume just gets better and better and better, and Kamala is a really, really great heroine, and yeah, I just really, really love it. So yeah, that was a pretty good effort. I think I've done better on Bout of Books in the past, but I'm happy with this result. This is a super, super long video, I can't believe it, and I'm going to stop now before it gets any longer. And I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.